Hello everyone, my name is Art and welcome back to another video. Today, I'll be taking a look at set 75362. This is Ahsoka's T-6 Jedi Shuttle. It has 4 minifigures, Maroke, Ahsoka, Sabine, and Hugh Yang. It costs $100 Canadian. I think it's a pretty nice set, just right off the bat. It has some really solid minifigures. I think probably the best minifigures of the bunch, I would say, when it comes to the Ahsoka sets of the minifigure lineups in them. The build is, like, just starting off right here. It looks really solid right here, and it spins as nice as you would want, but then you sort of get to this. And that's where I think your 601 piece count sort of messed it up a bit, but even then you could probably use some inverted parts like this just to create a little design to at least have somewhat of the dark red at the back. But I'll take a closer look at it as well as the minifigures now. So here is Ahsoka's T-6 Shuttle. It has 4 minifigures, Maroke, Sabine, Ahsoka, and Hugh Yang, 601 pieces, and costs 80 Canadian dollars. From here, honestly, this shot for me, this set looks great. I think the minifigure lineup looks great, and the ship from that outside of those wings looks great. It's of course a bit small. You can only fit 1 minifigure in the cockpit area. There's no sort of seating or anything for a character. But it's really when you turn around those wings, which I'll show you in a little bit, that really just sort of make the build slightly disappointing. It's still a really solid build and a cool set. It's just disappointing that it's just so plain at the back of it. But yeah, now I'll take a look at the build of the set and then the minifigures. So the T-6 Shuttle here goes for a light bluish gray and dark red color. Of course, it's sort of somewhat hard to tell. Of course, in the Rebels show, it definitely seems more white than it does light bluish gray, but I guess you could somewhat make a case for it looking a bit more like bluish gray in the show, but I don't know. I don't really have any sort of issues with this being light bluish gray. I think the outside of it, the exterior of it, looks great. Twisting it this way, I think it is a really solid looking ship. The cockpit area does have a printed piece right there, which is quite nice. You can only fit 1 minifigure in a very small space. You do have a little detail in there for a printed piece. A couple stickers there at the side. You do have these little side compartments. They can't fit any minifigures, but they can fit those minifigures. Accessories, like Hugh Yang's wrench there. At the back, this area looks really quite solid. You have a gunner spot there, of course, very small compared to what it actually would be. The engines, I think, look quite nice. Some landing gear here that really assists this landing down. If you tried without it, it's just going to flop over, so it's quite... And now this is where you can really see that. Just nothing there. Bit of dark red there, but other than that, you have this amazing looking side here, and then you have it done like this on the back, and it just looks so plain. I think it's a solid looking build from this side. It looks really cool. It's a cool looking ship, an interesting looking ship, very different and strange compared to other sets. But it let me down really with that backside, and they don't show it at all. And it really wasn't until we got some other views, like I think you have, I'm just looking at them here, and you can't actually tell from any of the images released by LEGO on the website that it actually will look like this. But yeah, it's a really solid build, but just that backside is really disappointing and drags a build down that I think is really solid for me. And, like, honestly, if it had that backside, I think this is up there with the Ghost for me, with solid ship builds. The Ghost I thought was amazing, and I wish this one had such a great build as that, and it just doesn't. But I hope that if we see some sort of UCS style of this set, we'd get a really solid build for both sides of the wings as well as interior compartments. Starting here with Hu Yang, a character that I think looks quite nice. Of course, we saw him in the trailer, but I really didn't realize he was going to be as integral as he was to the show, or has been to the show. This is an interesting minifigure where they went with a more minifigure style look instead of a more droid look. I've seen custom, like, CMF style ones or custom minifigure drawings where people have tried to attempt it in a droid style, like an assassin droid with a Hu Yang style head, and I think it looks really nice. The printing here I think is quite well done. The headpiece is really strong. I just think the proportions for Hu Yang look a bit weird as he's a droid character. He's just not a minifigure character to me, and for that I just think he looks a little bit awkward. The headpiece is really quite nice. The torso, leg, toe, every bit of printing is really nice. The back little printed piece as well. It's a well done minifigure and a great inclusion in this set, and a for sure character that you would want for an Ahsoka display from the show. So here is Maroke, a character that I guess had so much speculation on him and really didn't turn out to be anything more than just a Inquisitor-style character brought to life by Night Sister magic. I don't think he had to be any Starkiller or Ezra or Barriss or whatever. I think I'm fine with him just being a random guy. Maroke is the character. That's it. There's nothing else to him. But I think this minifigure is really quite well done. He has the minifigure, or Inquisitor, style of lightsaber piece with the frosted red lightsabers. This can clip to the back of his armor piece. The helmet piece is really quite nice, and I think would fit a medieval minifigure quite nicely. The armor piece is nice and adds some nice bulk to the minifigure. The torso and leg printing is nice as well. And I think this is a very good representation of the character. And honestly, all these minifigures are really quite solid, and this one is no different. Next minifigure here, Sabine. I love Sabine Wren. She's one of my favorite Star Wars characters. And this outfit just isn't my favorite, I would say. I think in the show I like it more. I think it's slightly more colorful in the show and it pops a little bit more. This minifigure just feels a bit more dull to me, and then you would want with Sabine Wren, who has very colorful outfits, and I love those Rebels figures because of that color. The torso color, though, is quite nice. Same for the leg and toe printing. I'm just a bit disappointed this minifigure doesn't have arm printing. I would love that to be an inclusion on a new version of this Sabine figure. The hair print or hair piece I think is nice. Same for the expressions. I think they fit Sabine quite well. She does come with her helmet, which is a cool inclusion in this set, and I think that helmet print is quite nice. Also, she does come with her lightsaber formally. Ezra's in that frosted green color, and I think it is a well-done minifigure. I just for sure would like to see arm printing on a future iteration of this outfit. Finally, the character that the show is named after, Ahsoka Tano. This is a great minifigure. She has arm printing. Like, that's just an amazing inclusion to this figure. A new Leku piece as well, which I think fits the style of this live-action Ahsoka quite well. The orange on the back doesn't come through as much as you would like it. It's a bit more faded than the orange arms and face. The torso, leg, hip, and toe printing is all quite nice. She's got two expressions, one there and then one more there. I think good expressions for a live-action Ahsoka minifigure. Her lightsaber pieces in that frosted clear color are quite nice, and I think this is a really, really lovely figure, and I hope to see it in future sets. Of course, I wouldn't be shocked to see this in a cheaper set, given that you would want to have Ahsoka, the main character of the show, in a cheaper set, but I think it's a really solid minifigure. I really do like this set. I think the Ahsoka minifigure it's an amazing minifigure. Huyang is an interesting one, where it's sort of interesting that they chose to go the minifigure route instead of a droid design. Maroke is a cool one, a cool design character, and well executed here, of course. Died very early on, brought to life, I guess, by Night Sister magic, but an interesting minifigure and character, and a really well done one. Sabine was one that really disappointed me. I think the hairpiece, face printing, helmet looks really great. It's just in my head and what we've been getting recently with Mandalorians. I was just hoping so much that we would see arm printing on this minifigure, and I think that would have just brought this design up so much more. The other Sabine minifigures are just so much more colorful than this one, that without that arm printing, I find the minifigure feels a bit plain, which is a bit disappointing, because it was probably the minifigure I was most excited from this entire wave. But overall, I think it's a really solid set, and I would recommend it, especially currently, to get Sabine, Ahsoka, and Huyang, really important characters to the show, and I'm assuming we will see Sabine and Ahsoka again in future sets, just maybe not Huyang. I don't really see him being featured in another set, but definitely we will see Ahsoka, and likely Sabine in a future Ahsoka set.